Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm your host, Tyler Bird, as always, here on the Fight Algorithm podcast. So, without further ado, let's hop right into it. As most of you will know, UFC 5 was recently announced the other day. It was teased a couple weeks ago, but we got our first look and trailer yesterday. And if you also remember, I made a video about what we needed from EA about UFC 5. So today's video is called I Saved EA. I might actually name it that, but I'm joking, guys. I don't even know if they heard it from me, heard it from the fans, but they did meet a surprising amount of issues and address them. So I figured we should talk about it. Um, so let's go over what I said in my last video. New grappling system. Boom. Okay, let's jump right there. So, this is coming from the developer, one of the EA people, I should say. Um, and he was talking about the new submission and grappling system. It's called the Seamless Submission System. The new Seamless Submissions, this is how it is in this MMA Junkie article. I'm just reading it to you. Again, not sponsored by EA, UFC, or them, or anyone. As a revamped extension of the existing grappling systems with faster animations and the removal of minigames. That means, guys, okay, if you recall, I hated both the grappling system and the submission system of UFC 4. Dog water, no one liked it, belongs in the garbage, and to be burned and never to be seen from again. So, EA, we thank you very much for noting that and addressing it. Beginners can use grapple assist for help on the canvas, while veterans will have new depths to uncover and enjoy. So, what does this actually mean? Well, it's a big question. Now we haven't had a gameplay trailer yet. I will emphasize that, but it did show the grappling in this engine footage. Guys, it looks so much better. Even just the players' movements in and out of submissions, reversals, and all that. It brought joy to my heart. Truly did. So, that's number one. Check for EA. We finally get a victory. Not childish. Ooh, boys and girls. Did they deliver? So, when they heard that we wanted not childish, well, they heard us and went the extra mile we didn't think they would. They made it M for mature. Yeah, instead of T for teen. Um, and I'll tell you why it is. So, um, the real impact system. Cuts, bruising, and swelling accumulate in accurate locations based on the damage you inflict and take in game, including over 64,000 possible combinations of facial damage a fighter can sustain. Causing a cut near an opponent's eye can impair their vision and cause them to take more damage on that side as they don't see subsequent strikes as well. Bust an opponent's nose to potentially hinder. Sorry, I lost my spot because of my stupid screen. Uh, Hinder their breathing and slow their stamina recovery. Take too many low calf kicks and your character may start to limp with related mobility decline. Authentic damage adds a whole new layer of strategic possibilities to the fight. So basically, you can break the person's face quite literally. Um, Now, this does not mean it's Mortal Kombat where they're gonna have fatalities or ripping people's hearts out, obviously. But oh, guys, it's just, oh, I was so excited when I heard this. Um, Now, another really cool feature they're adding: doctor stoppages. Now, why is this being mentioned in the non-childish? I'll tell you why. So, if a player sustains a significant injury, the ref can now step in, pause the action, and summon the ringside doctor to assess the damage. If the player is unable to shift tactics and protect the injured area from future damage, the doctor might stop the fight. This gives players more strategic opportunities to gain result influencing advantageous as one thrives and survives. Okay, so one thing they did mention, and this is, I believe, the big reason why it's M this time, for the first time ever, by the way, um, is because, so if you played the old games, the cuts, you could see them, but they didn't drip anywhere. I mean, there was really nothing on the canvas. Even when you would have the bloodiest of wars, where you would see blood flying off the face, it was like the blood just went away, which was really dumb. So now the blood, wherever you're at when you're spilling all that blood, the blood will pull together. So there's going to be a lot more blood, a lot more realistic amounts of blood, and all sorts of things. So, not childish by any means. Another victory for EA. Next, we had the bring back elbows and hammer fists. Ho 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 ho. So, they actually added some elbow stuff, I think, um, through the trailer. It was spotted where there was a new elbow that you could never do in any of the games. Um, it was like a stack guard elbow. It was kind of interesting, but and there were hammer fists shown, so loving that. Um, so what they said about new strikes and hit reactions in this was the game features all new animations for ground and pound elbows, spinning attacks, and a variety of other punches, kicks, knees, and elbows. New striking new striking animations, emulate heavy hitters, professional kickboxers, and more, giving you all new ways to stand and bang. In addition, new hit reaction animations and physics make sure you feel the impact of a clean connection. Um, so you could even say that that's a big upgrade on the non-childish part. But they showed that really great to see and hear because um, it was something so so missed, at least for me personally, and some other people, I'm sure, but I know of at least one where it was missed. Um, they can think of off the top of my head. Anyway, and it just, oh, it makes it so much more fun. It really does, guys. Not gonna lie, we love to do ground and pound damage. So again, another victory for EA. So far, so good. So let's go. Yeah, they added elbows and ground and pound this year. Our real damage. Yeah, yeah. Okay, went over all that. New damage system, went over that. Okay. to update you on the striking a little bit, they've added new strikes, body punches, spinning attacks, and calf kicks. You have a normal leg kick, but if you do the input, you can also. It's a lot of little nuance mechanics that make all the difference, but it just is. Um, it just makes it a whole lot better. So, mm, career mode. I believe I actually don't recall why I didn't bring this up. Oh, I did. Never mind. In the last video, I said I didn't really want a story. Um, I said that it's not really necessary. I don't go in there for a story. I want to learn from actual coaches and actual gyms. We didn't get that. However, I'm not going to harp on EA for this because what they did do, I can compromise with. So there will be a whole new introduction to career mode. Valentina Shevchenko will welcome the player along with Coach Davis, and they're going to guide the player through their career. There's going to be new cinematics, new locations, and then a refined focus on onboarding. We're also updating training camp, allowing players to simulate training and sparring to repeat fitness to get to the fights faster. Vic Royale. Holy moly. If you guys remember, that was a big issue of mine. It's just the sparring for every little thing just took so long. Like, you would want to do 2-week training camps for championship fights solely because you couldn't really sit there through all that stuff. You either didn't have time, it was just not worth it, it was too boring. Then you suffered in-fight consequences, and it was stupid. So we know training camp can really bog you down, especially when you're doing a 40-fight career multiple times. Yeah. The challenge packs are going to make a difference. Yeah. This basically just is a way for you to get extra evolution points. So I don't need to go over it all. There's a new in-fight challenges, what they call as social media challenges, where fans are going to ask you to do certain things in fights, and if you accept it and do it, you'll get more hype and more fans for your upcoming fights. But if you decline, you're going to have a very unhappy fan. There's also new sponsorships available in career mode. We like those. Help us gain some more evolution points and money. Stuff like that, depending on how they do it. Prime Hydration, Toyo Tires, ESPN Plus, and Venom. They're all sponsors who will sign on with you, and it will give more opportunity to do things. But again, the more time you spend on social media, the less time you're doing training, and that will affect your upcoming fight. Oh yeah, so this is something that is kind of important to note, I guess. There will now be um, draws in fights. The refs can have it at a majority draw. Don't know how I feel about this one. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know that is going to work as well as they expect, or that it's going to work out as bad as I think it could be. Only time will really tell. He was asked if uh, voice chat will return in online, and he said no. Thank goodness, because I don't know if that's the best idea in the world. Now, this is something that I thought was pretty cool. It's another one of those features that kind of not, I guess, stole from 2K, but I know it's in that specific game, or it was back in the day. So now available before real world UFC events, players can make predictions for the main card of every pay per view. Players are automatically seeded into Fight Picks leaderboard pools after making their picks, with custom friend leaderboards also accessible. Following the event, top ranking players on the leaderboard will earn UFC coins. Something a little cool, and to think about. Little side task. Fight week contracts give players a daily fight offer where they can take on AI opponents under preset gameplay settings. Players can earn in-game currency by showing up and winning, while the difficulty of the contracts increases over time. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is a new thing they're adding as well. This has to do with career mode. But before I get there, they did address the clinch and all the grappling stuff a little more as I found that I was scrolling. So that was another thing I asked for. They succeeded on that. I'll give that to them, at least on paper. They're adding online career mode. Now, what this means is that there will be skill based matchmaking, division progression, and title chases across 4 divisions. Players can compete with a different created fighter in each division, allowing players to showcase multiple character customizations and vanity items. Okay, they did make it less childish. I don't. Again, with the vanity items, I hope they're not as stupid and like the last ones, like a giant bear skin head, or some of the really dumb stuff they had in 4. Um, Moves and perks. Once a player reaches the level cap for a fighter, they'll prestige, which will reset their evolution but increase their blah 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 blah. Um, yeah, that didn't really matter to about anyone or anything. So, the only thing they really didn't address on here is they would they didn't address the whatchamacallit. Oh, ba, 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 ba. Oh goodness, I can't think of it. Better commentary, more accurate commentary. However, one thing I did miss um, is there's now going to be different types of career mode, and I don't just mean the online and offline one. Um, the offline one and online one are different, obviously, but you can now have. This is going to be would be insane. I mean, I'll do it eventually, but not to start. You can now have a stand and bang career mode, offline in your regular normal career mode, to where there's no grappling, which some people are gonna like. And in theory, it's an interesting concept. The only problem I have is, once again, feels like they're kind of trying to be something they're not, in the fact that, newsflash, people, you are not a boxing video game. You are an MMA video game. But I digress. I understand that people will enjoy it, and I applaud them for focusing on that. Um, that's really it. The only thing they really didn't address was the let us call out who we want and the better commentary that I had. Um, Not to say those aren't in there necessarily, because obviously this isn't every little thing. But as of right now, we have yet to know those answers to those questions. Well, boys, we are ready. We are ready, and we cannot wait. October 27th, coming to you live. If you pre-order, you get it 3 days early, and 3 fighters extra. Oh, the roster. It was like 250 fighters to start out. It was nuts. But anyway, I digress. The 3 extra fighters, DLC fighters you'll have access to are Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, and somehow, although for the life of me, I can't figure out how this was even remotely possible or why he even remotely agreed, considering their past. Uh, the third one is Fedor Emelianenko. Sorry if I butchered that last name. Um, I don't know how they got Fedor, but they did. So that's interesting. Uh, there's not really any other way to put that. But we are very grateful for EA and the UFC game developers and stuff putting us in their minds when making this game and answering a lot of questions and fixing a lot of issues that we all stated and addressed. One thing I didn't mention because it wasn't on my list before, because why would it be? They switched engines from, I forgot what Force was in, but they switched this one over to. Hold on, let me look before I say the wrong thing. They switched. Where is it? I just saw it. Frostbite. That's what it was. See, good thing I checked. To a Frostbite engine, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. The footage that was captured in the game engine, because that's really all we have so far. But it just looked unreal, and we could not be happier. I could not be happier. I guess I can't speak for all of you. I could not be happier. So without further ado, you can thank me for saving EA. I kid. But thank you for tuning in, as always, to the Fight Algorithm. Catch you guys later.